俺は縁柱煉獄杏寿郎だ。
俺は赤座鬼になろう杏寿郎。
White captures the central pawn with nxe5, which targets the f7 square. This move creates a dangerous fork threat with nxf7 that would hit both the queen and rook. Black challenges the center with d5, which gains space and immediately attacks the white bishop. This solid advance forces a reaction while preparing to develop the king side. Black's qg5 aggressively centralizes the queen to threaten the hanging knight on e5. This active move also puts immediate pressure on the g2 pawn, forcing white to find a precise defensive response. White chooses to short castle, but leaves the knight on e5 undefended. This allows black to win a piece with qxe5, gaining a significant material advantage. White's rook e1 pins the queen to the king, but allows black to launch a devastating nf3+. This fork forces white to surrender the rook qxe1+. Black's nf3 check is a brilliant knight sacrifice that forces a significant material gain. By drawing the king into a corner, black wins the exchange and enters a completely winning endgame. White develops a piece but allows knight g4, which forces an unfavorable trade of the light-squared bishop. Better was pawn to c3, reinforcing the center and preparing a more solid development for the knight. Black lunges forward to create an immediate threat against the f2 pawn. The knight jump eyes a fork of the queen and rook, practically forcing white to trade off their light-squared bishop. White castles into a brewing storm, allowing black to generate a powerful kingside attack with f6. This move is slightly passive compared to immediately eliminating the active knight with bxg4. Black sets up a battery to threaten checkmate on h2, but the move is slightly slow. This allows white to strike with the central pawn sacrifice e5, which pins the knight on g4 to the queen. White weakens the kingside by playing g3, creating targets for the black attack. It was better to strike at the center with e5, which exploits the bishop, pinning the f-pawn to the king. White blunders into a forced checkmate. The pawn on f2 is pinned to the king, leaving the g3 square completely defenseless against the black queen. Black can end the game immediately with qx g3 shot. A small miss here, as bishop e2 leaves the e4 pawn hanging. Defending it first with d3 would have kept white in the driver's seat by securing the center. Now black can simply take the pawn with xe4 to equalize the game. Developing the bishop is a natural instinct, but it's a bit of a missed strike. Snatching the e4 pawn with knight xe4 would have challenged white's center immediately and kept the game balanced. Moving to c5 allows white to comfortably stabilize with d3, leaving black with a slightly more passive position. Castling is usually a priority, but this specific timing allows black to snag the e4 pawn. Since the d-pawn is still pinned to the king, the knight can jump into the center for free. Playing pawn d3 first would have stabilized the position and kept your opening advantage. White strikes the knight, but this advance allows black to coordinate a dangerous reply with g4. This often leads to a sequence where white eventually has to part with the bishop to remove that annoying knight. Solidifying with c3 instead would have kept the position under control while preparing a more stable development. That's a tough break, as c3 ignores the gathering storm on the king side and allows black to strike with h4. Dealing with the knight more urgently with d3, white faces a devastating attack starting with bxf2+, which forces the king into the corner and leaves the defense in tatters. Black brings the queen into the heart of the action, immediately threatening checkmate on h2. This aggressive battery with the knight on g4 forces white into a desperate defense, eventually winning a rook for a bishop and pawn after h3, then bxf2+. Black clears the way for a devastating attack while also creating an immediate threat of mate on h2. The white position is essentially collapsing, as any attempt to block the file with h3 simply allows the h-pawn to crash through to g2. a stunning bishop sacrifice that forces the game to a swift conclusion. By placing the bishop on f3, black creates an unstoppable mating net, where even white giving up the queen with h3 can only delay the inevitable rh1 mate for a single move.